Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Tanya Aneja. Well, shares of Century Ply have zoomed over 860% in the last 10 years. The company has been doing product innovations such as exterior grade laminates, Venlam laminates, and MDF to name a few. But what is the company's outlook for 2023 and what is the demand situation looking like at this point in time? To discuss this and much more, let's welcome our guest on the show today. We have with us Keshav Bhajanka, who is Executive Director at Century Plyboards India Limited. Thank you so much, Keshav, for taking the time out and joining us here on Business Today Television.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
So Keshav, you have been responsible for these product innovations, and recently the company came up with the industry's first solution to check fake products. So tell us more about this solution and of course the Promise app as well.
Um, the Promise app actually originated out of the need to provide our customers with
Okay.
something better. What was happening was that in our product, once it is cut and applied, it becomes very difficult to differentiate between any plywood. Uh, People were stamping fake products and they were selling this in the name of Century Ply, and our consumers who have faith in the company were paying an extremely high premium for these products but getting very substandard material. So, in
Right.
order to rid this, we started the process a few years ago. We actually first put a QR code on all our products. This started around 2016-17, and gradually over the course of time, we perfected an app by virtue of which one simple scan and you'll immediately see whether the product is a Century Ply product or not. The customer, in essence, will have peace of mind because this was one of the issues that not just the customer but carpenters, contractors, architects, interior designers, everyone was facing. And by virtue of this app, I think we now finally have a concrete solution. And I'm sure, or I hope, that this becomes the norm for the industry going forward as well.
Absolutely. And also, Keshav, there was inflationary pressures and raw material prices were high, but still the company has performed well so far. So, what is the demand situation looking like at this point in time? And also, what is your business outlook for the remainder of this fiscal year, given that the third quarter has coincided with the beginning of the festive season?
Um, the festive season, of course, does bring demand with it. But alongside that, for instance, October this month had practically just 20 working days. So
Right.
that does pose a slight challenge because of the reduction days. But I think you've hit the nail on the head. Inflationary pressure is there in the system. Somewhere it has impacted. I think it has impacted perhaps rural demand a little more than urban demand. But what we are seeing is that even though the markets are sluggish, we have still been able to do reasonably well. So this gives us a lot of confidence going forward. I think that we aren't going to be facing, or rather, the growth momentum that we have built into the system over the course of the past couple of years. We should be able to at least maintain that, if not grow faster. So that is the ambition, and as of now, I think we're very well placed for that. So 2023, I'm quite optimistic, but I'm sure that it'll be another good year.
Okay, absolutely. And for the benefit of our viewers, I would like to understand about your raw materials and how many price hikes have you seen there?
We have seen multiple price hikes over the past year. As you
Okay.
know that some commodities like chemicals prices shot up. Now they have cooled off substantially,
Okay.
but there was a point where every week raw material prices were shooting up by 10, 12, 14%. And thankfully that scenario is behind us now. But definitely, whether you look at all our major raw materials, whether you look at timber, prices have shot up, particularly in some parts of the north. Paper prices have shot up across the country, and chemical prices, they had shot up quite a bit, but they have relatively cooled off. I think they're still cooling off. It's going to get even better going forward. We have been able to take price hikes by virtue of being the market leader. We do have pricing power in hand. So we have been able to pass on the vast majority of the cost increases in the form of price increases. As such, it will have no meaningful impact on margins. But going forward, as raw material prices cool, perhaps we will see a slightly better profitability.
Okay, absolutely. And also give us a sense on MDF as well. I mean, that is one of your key growth drivers. And you said that MDF and particle board might still see some raw material price inflation due to the high price of timber, particularly in the north. So, what is your current MDF capex plan and any challenges that you're facing with regard to imports?
Um, Currently, we are operating out of the north. So the
Okay.
north is somewhat isolated because in MDF, the cost of logistics is very high. It's not a very high value product per kg. So I think in the north, we've just expanded our capacity. We have expanded from a capacity of 600 cubic meters to a capacity of 950 cubic meters. So it's about a 60% capacity addition. And
Okay.
this should come on stream by next month, hopefully. So in the north, I don't see much impact from imports, and the demand is still quite robust. Going forward next year, we are setting up a greenfield capacity in the state of Andhra Pradesh. This is going to be the single largest capacity that Century Plyboards has ever come up with. It's going to be a 950 cubic meter MDF unit with a capital outlay of over 600 crores. So I think that when that unit comes up, definitely imports are going to will play a role. But the advantage that we have, domestic players will always be able to get a premium because of firstly the brand, and second our ability to service the market in smaller quantities at higher frequencies much quicker. So I think going forward, even though prices might be slightly under pressure, but margins will still look fairly robust in MDF.
Okay, absolutely. And also, you are expecting a 20 to 25% growth in revenue this fiscal, if I'm not wrong. Is that on track? And what is the revenue potential from all the new units?
So yes, that is very much on track.
Okay.
And the revenue potential from the new units, if you look at the Hoshiarpur expansion, then we should be looking at least a 200 crore plus increase in revenue out of the same. Andhra, just the MDF unit should have a 6 to 700 crore increase in revenue from that unit. So there's a substantial revenue jump that we'll get once these units come into play.
Okay, and also with the raw material prices cooling off a little bit, do you expect the margins to improve in the second half of FY23?
Um, some margins have cooled off. Some raw material
Raw material
prices have
prices.
cooled off. Some prices have jumped. So I think that considering, for instance, in MDF, the price of chemicals has cooled off, but the price of timber has jumped up. So
Okay.
I think maintaining margins, that definitely we should be able to do. In MDF, we have said that steady state margins should look at about 25%, particle board 25%, plywood between 13 to 15%, and laminates between 14 to 16%. So I am very confident that we'll be able to maintain these margins. Of course, in the short term, there might be some deviations. In a quarter or
Okay.
two, it might be higher, in a quarter or two, it might be lower.
Okay. And what is your current market share at this point in time? Any strategies to improve this market share going forward?
So in plywood, since it is still, 70% unorganized industry,
Right.
we are 25% of the organized market. So we would
Okay.
be at 7% plus of the industry.
Okay.
Considering that the market per se hasn't grown as strongly, and we have grown quite well over the course of the past couple of years, I'm sure
Okay.
our market share has improved. But the quantum of that is very difficult to say because there's no authenticated data behind it. But definitely, branded players have been doing better than the unorganized. And in the branded players, us as market leaders have been doing really well. So I think we have definitely gained some market share.
Okay, absolutely. And also, Keshav, we are all set to enter 2023, and all eyes are now on the union budget. So, what are your expectations from the union budget 2023?
Uh, um, I think the last budget was a fantastic budget with
Yeah.
substantial investment in infrastructure. And that has helped, I think, pretty much every single sector in the country. So I hope they continue with the same. I hope that there's further investment in logistic infrastructure and overall infrastructure sector. If there is a good investment in the same, I think every sector in the country will do well for the long term.
Okay, absolutely. That's the word coming in. And on that note, thank you so much, Keshav, for taking the
Thank you.
time out and being with us here on Business Today Television. Thank you.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share, and subscribe.